Hello and welcome to the All Rookie Podcast. Today is November 6th, 2023, and I'm your host, William Harris, aka William is Bill. Great to be back with you today on another great episode of the All Rookie Podcast. This week, we're going to go over the top rookies for week 2 thus far in this great 2023-2024 NBA season. Now, this season has been a little bit better than this week has been a little bit better than last week. Last week, only 14 rookies were averaging over 5 points per game. This second week, now we have 17 rookies. Last week, only 24 rookies had even scored 1 point. As of week 2, now we have 39 rookies have scored at least 1 point. So we see more rookies are getting on the court, getting more opportunity. That's going to happen with developmental time, and that's going to happen with injury. So when regular players, veterans start getting injured or needing rest, that's a time to throw rookies in there. When there are blowouts, which there have been a lot of those, that's when those rookies get thrown into the game. So that's the positive news. Some more rookies are playing, getting more minutes. The negative is we've had 3 major injuries to our rookies this week. Starting with Jarace Walker, his is more of a respiratory infection, so that's an illness, but it has him day to day, so he's missing time right now, but he should be all right. Scoot Henderson is out with this ankle sprain, could be multiple weeks, so that's unfortunate. He's having a kind of a rough start to his rookie season. Everyone wanted to see him dominating from day one, just like Victor and Ausar Thompson, but thus far, Scoot has started off at a slower pace, and now he's set back with an ankle injury. You could say the same thing for Amen Thompson. He was able to show some flashes, but he received an ankle sprain as well this week. So he's out for a few weeks as well. So, they both got hurt in the summer league too with an ankle. So that's interesting. But hopefully those 2 young men will get back on the court really soon. But for now, let's get into the top rookies thus far of week 2 in the NBA season. Now we're going to start with number 1, of course, is always Victor Wembanyama. And I just want to go over some of his games this week. He has had his career high in his early career high. He's only played 6 games thus far. But his game before last, he had a huge game with 38 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Now that's think about what I said, 38 and 10 with 2 blocks. He also had a steal in that game. So he did it all against his idol, Kevin Durant. They played him back-to-back. First game, he played pretty well, had 18 and 8. Second game in the back-to-back, 38 and 10. That's just outrageous. I mean, before that, he kind of had a down game where he had 11 points and 5 boards, but that was in week 1. But he definitely bounced back with the 18 and 8. And in that game, he had 4 blocks. And then the 38 and 10 with 2 blocks. And then most recently on Sunday, he had a 20.9 rebound, 4 assists, and 5 block game. So Victor Wembanyama has met and exceeded everyone's expectations so far. I don't know if a rookie's had this many expectations on him since LeBron James. People are going crazy with Victor Mania right now, saying he's a better prospect than LeBron, or better this, or better that. There's no need for that. Let Victor be Victor. He's off to an incredible start. His height, length, athleticism is unprecedented, and he's doing everything we want to see. No need to, tear other players down or build anybody up more than they need to. Let's let it play out. Let's enjoy the amazingness. To me, I didn't think such an athlete, freak of nature, would be able to hold up in the NBA, being that size, moving that much, playing like a guard. But thus far, he's impressed me. I mean, he's been the best rookie thus far. So, you can have an opinion, but if a guy proves you wrong, what can you do? I mean, Victor Wembanyama, I'm sorry. But no, he's playing great. I thought he would be the 3rd best prospect coming into this class, and it's clear he's coming for that number 1 spot. Let's say that. It's a long season, though, so I still believe in Amen, and Scoot. But Victor is off to a giant head start. and he's averaging 20 points per game. In the first week, it was 15. Now he's jumped that average up to 20 points and is at 8 rebounds. So you love to see it. Next, we have Ausar Thompson. Ausar is killing it for Detroit in all aspects. He's averaging 11 points per game. That's going to go up to around 12 points per game, and 9 rebounds, and 4 assists and 2 blocks per game. This is a 6'7" guard/forward with 9 rebounds. He's still the leading rebounder of all rookies, and he shouldn't be. I mean, even if you're including Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama, he's averaging more rebounds than those 7-footers. So Ausar Thompson is just a magnet to the ball. And this week he's had some dominant performances. He had his first double-double. He had a 15-point, 10-rebound game with 3 blocks. He had two 16-7 games. One of those games he has 5 assists. One he had 2 steals. In his last game, almost a double-double with 14 points, 9 boards. But he filled up everything else with 4 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks. That is insane. So Ausar Thompson, another player I was not as high on because I was super high on his brother. Him and his brother can kind of do the same thing, but his brother was also a point guard. So that just was like incredible. He's going to be doing what Ausar is doing, but with the more assists, But A-Man is stuck behind Fred VanVleet. And like I said, now he has a ankle injury. Ausar was supposed to be coming off the bench, but there's an injury to Bogdanovich in Detroit. That's allowed him to play around 30 minutes per game, and he's killing it for Detroit. And the fact that he can do everything for them is going to keep him on the court. So I'm loving what he's doing. Super impressed by Ausar Thompson as well. Next, number 3, we have Brandon Miller, and he's playing very well for the Hornets. Very happy for him, because a lot of North Carolina were not happy about that draft pick. Excuse me. He's averaging around 13 points per game. This week, he had his best game of the season, 22 points and 9 boards and 1 block against the Brooklyn Nets. So almost a double-double. That's great, 22 and 9. His next 3 games, he kind of dipped down a little bit with 10 and 5, 10 and 3, and 7 and 1. So he's still working on it, still a work in progress, but I'm loving what I'm seeing from Brandon Miller. And those rebounds are looking good, averaging 5 rebounds per game, 2 assists, almost a half block per game. So Brandon Miller is doing well for the Charlotte Hornets. Next, we have Derek Lively. Derek Lively is doing great for the Dallas Mavericks. Screen wanted to mess up right there. Yes. Okay. Derek Lively, another player I wasn't as high on. Thought he was too skinny. Thought he was not ready. He averaged 5 points and 5 boards at Duke. So what's he going to do in the NBA? Of course he comes through and is playing amazing. So you what can you do? It's a lot of projecting. A lot of players that should do well don't. A lot should not do. So, it's a crapshoot. We do the best we can. He's averaging around 8.5 points per game and 7 boards per game and a block per game. In his week 2, he had a game where he struggled with minutes in the first one, 13 minutes, 2 points, 6 rebounds. Next game, 7 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. That's amazing. 2 steals and a block. That was an incredible game. Next game, dropped back down again, 4 points, 4 boards. Next game, a big double-double, 15 points, 14 boards, and a block against the Hornets. So it's good to see Derek Lively getting out there. You could tell it's matchup dependent because he's had 2 games under 20 minutes, but everything else pretty solid minutes for the Mavs, and he's going out there being the helper that Luka needs, being a defensive presence and a lob threat at all times. Now, next, we have a bit of surprise. Marcus Sasser, 2 incredible back-to-back games. I had to move him up to number 5. And week 2's performances for rookies. Marcus Sasser, first 2 games of the week, 6 points, 8 points, and 6 assists, which is good. 8 points, 6 assists, and 4 steals. I didn't even notice that. That's an incredible game, too. So those 3 games in a row, incredible. 8 points, 6 assists, 4 steals. But then he really turned it on, ramped it up. Jaden Ivey is a little bit hurt right now. That is helping. But he had 19 points, 3 assists, and a steal against the Pelicans. And then he followed that up with a 22-point performance with 3 boards and 4 assists. So Marcus Sasser is coming out of nowhere, lighting it up for the Pistons. Once again, that's another rookie for the Pistons. They nailed this draft, and this has Marcus Sasser averaging more than 7 points per game right now for the season, when before he was averaging around 4 or 5. And the numbers aren't exactly updated. It's probably around 8 or 9 right now he's averaging because of this 22-point performance. So now this is a guy I've had a huge confidence in. Loved his talent in college. I thought he could have came out last year. This year he comes out, goes to Detroit. It's a crowded backfield. It's like, man, well, he's not going to get many minutes. He's going to be in the G League. But no, he's been forced in the action, and he's played since day one. The first game for the Pistons in the season, he played 10 minutes. So that was unexpected, very pleasantly surprised, and he has not disappointed at all. So Marcus Sasser moving up to number 5 on the list. Next, we have Keontae George, the youngster for Utah Jazz. He had a solid week. He's being solid all season. A lot of people are expecting his climb to shoot up to the moon, but it's going to be a steady rise, it appears. The first game of the week was not good, 3 points, 2 assists. But after that, 9 points, 3 assists, 6 points, 3 assists, 8 points, 4 assists. So he's hanging around in there, and his minutes are fluctuating. Sometimes it's 19, sometimes it's 25, and then 19 and 27. So if he gets a consistent role with the Jazz, that will be great. But so far, nothing like Marcus Sasser with the boom, 22 points. But he's just staying consistent all season. Every game, he's had a good scoring game mainly over 8 points, except for 2 games out of the 7. So next, we're moving on to Jordan Hawkins. This is a bit of a surprise as well, but this is because the Pelicans have been having some injuries of late, and that's allowed Jordan Hawkins to get in the game. Another player he was a senior, won a championship, NBA ready, but he went to a team loaded with talent. So it's like he's not going to get any minutes. They didn't even play Trey Murphy hardly any minutes his first year. Coincidentally, Trey Murphy is out right now, but Jordan Hawkins in the first game of the week, 14 points, 5 boards, 2 steals, 10, 6, 4 assists, 2 steals. Third game, not much with 6 points. And the most recent game, 15 points, 5 boards, and 1 steal. So that's a heck of a week for Jordan Hawkins. He had that 1 game lumped in there, but it's great to see him getting minutes that he, I'm sure, wasn't expecting to get himself. But he has came in and shown why he got those minutes, and he has done everything he needs to show that he can continue to get minutes during the season. This is only going to help him for later on, because I do not think he was supposed to be out here now. So he's kind of been thrown into the fire, and later in the season, it could help the Pelicans if they stay healthy. And they just had an injury to CJ McCollum, punctured his lung, but that's going to remain minutes for Jordan Hawkins throughout the season. Next, we have Anthony Black. Anthony Black, super slow start to the season. First game, played 4 minutes. That's it. Second game, DNP. Third game, DNP. Fourth game, 3 minutes. But the last 2 games, he's been able to get in there and play well for the Orlando Magic. He had 9 points, 3 boards, and 2 steals in his first game of real action. Next game, 11 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And he really showed some things against the Lakers. Really good to see him getting minutes. He was a 6th pick in the draft. It's only right that he gets minutes out there on the court. So I expect next week, Anthony Black could probably be moving up this list into the top 5. Now, we mentioned Scoot Henderson had 2 games with 11 points, but he got injured, so it's not much after that to mention. But he is number 9 because he had 2 points at 2 games with 11 points. And last but not least, we have Bilal Coulibaly. First week, not much at all. He played 23 minutes and had 3 assists, 4 boards, 3 points. is a bit disappointing, but he played well defensively. Second game, 14 minutes, basically no stats. But this second week is the week where it took off for him. First game, 9 points, 5 boards, and 2 blocks. You love that. Second game, 5 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals. Love those 3 steals. Most recent game, 9 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. So Bilal Coulibaly, his minutes are trending up. And he averaged around 23 minutes per game in week 2. And his stats and production are ramping up. So it depends on how they're going to do things. Some of these games have been blowouts. The Wizards are not a good team at all. But that gives you opportunity to play the youngsters. You know, a lot of these youngsters are doing well. I mean, they have older guys as well, like Bilal Coulibaly, the backup point guard. I can't think of his name right now. But the way this season is going, they need to play the youngsters. Play Patrick Baldwin. Play Ryan Rollins. Let Jordan Poole and Kuzma do their thing and Daniel Gafford. But the Wizards are kind of a dumpster fire right now. Hopefully that won't hurt Bilal Coulibaly's production and growth. Hopefully that'll get him the experience he needs and he'll be better for it next season. So those are the top 10 rookies for week 2. But I do have some honorable mention players that have played very well in week 2. And I have to mention Jaime Jaquez had some good performances. Toumani Camara has been solid. And Trayce Jackson-Davis. I have to give a shout out to Trayce Jackson-Davis, one of the last picks in the draft. I had him projected to be a first-round pick. Near the end of the first, he went to the end of the second. I mean, he was barely drafted. It was a travesty, honestly. But in week 2, he got to play 19 minutes, his first game of real minutes, and he had 13 points, 9 boards, and 4 blocks. That is incredible production from a rookie that was barely drafted. He should be in the G League at the position he's drafted, not even sniffing an NBA court, but he was able to play, and he showed out. Not just 13 points, but 4 blocks. That's crazy. And then he had 2 DNPs after that, so that sucks. But the most recent game, he got in for 11 minutes and had 5 points, 4 boards, a steal, and a block. So Trayce Jackson-Davis is a guy you can look out for. Draymond Green just got hurt recently in the last game. It's possible you can see him get some more minutes coming up in the future. So those are my top standout rookies for week 2. You know, some other players did solid. You know, it's good to see them getting minutes. Craig Porter Jr. deserves a shout out for the Cavs. He was undrafted, came in and played a few games when Darius Garland was hurt and really showed that he belongs. He's back to DNPs right now, but Craig Porter Jr. deserves a shout out. Imani Bates deserves a shout out. He had a nice 9-point game in week 2. And other than that, you know, the rookies are just progressing and trying to continue to develop. Kobe Brown starting to get on the court, do some things. Kobe Jones might get some minutes for Sacramento with De'Aaron Fox hurt. So we'll be back with you and checking out week 3. I'll let you know what the rookies are doing again. And I mean, it's been a fun season already. Hope you enjoyed it. These are your top 10 rookies for week 2. You want to hear them again? Victor Wembanyama, Ausar Thompson, Brandon Miller, Derek Lively, Marcus Sasser, Keontae George, Jordan Hawkins, Anthony Black, Scoot Henderson, get well soon, and Bilal Coulibaly. Until next time, I'm out of here. Like, subscribe, rate, review, all the good stuff. I'm out of here. Peace.